Changing the world through wine, one glass at a time. Now that doesn't sound too bad, does it? My guest today is Sammy Lam from Wanderlust Wine in Austin, the largest self-pour wine on tap winery in the world. It's quite a COVID innovation. We chat about sustainability and what influenced him to make this dream become a reality. And of course, we have a couple of drinks while doing it. Tune in, this one is really something. Thank you so much for inviting me into your space. It's super cool, I love it.
Thank you so much. Welcome to Wanderlust Wine Company.
Introduce yourself. Tell me a little bit about you, and then also tell me about this wonderful business. I absolutely love it. It's fantastic.
You got it. So, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Sammy Lam. I'm known as the Wine Cowboy, and we're here at the Wanderlust Wine Co. Downtown location. We also have the East Side location. And we're known to be the world's largest self-pour wine on tap winery in the world. So we are still working on our Guinness World Record. They're having some delays because of COVID, of course. But here behind us, we have 56 wines from around the world that patrons are able to pour at their own pace, creating their own wine flight experience without the intimidation of having a sommelier behind a bar telling them what they should be smelling, tasting, etc. Sometimes people just want to relax, enjoy a glass of wine without, anything else. And so we are approaching a very unique side of the wine industry. Technology and wine have never really been in the same sentence, really ever. And even like Australia, there was a huge innovation with the screw cap. And everywhere that right now has been widely used, but it's taken time for people to understand that there's quality wines within those alternative and innovative packaging categories. And so here we specialize in the keg format. So right here we actually got awarded the 2021 People's Choice Award from Free Flow Wines through their Keggy Awards. But we do some bottles here and there too. I mean,
It's pretty cool.
I still love my good bottles of wine, but of course we specialize in ways that we can help reduce and lower the carbon footprint that wine has while making it more fun, easy, and accessible to consumers. So we're starting here in Austin. We hope to expand all around the world. We'll see how fast the concept picks up. And yeah, our slogan is travel the world through wine, one flight at a time. And here you're able to sample wines from over 14 different countries at the tap at your own pace and at your own budget.
So amazing. It's an incredible COVID innovation.
Yes.
As well. Like, it just fits so well into the world that we're quickly going into. I want to hear a little bit more. We spoke about this off camera, but I want to hear a little bit more about the sustainability and this model that you're chasing. It's different because the bottles, the leftover waste from all of the wine, I think that is an incredible innovation to look at how to package your product in a different way and more sustainable.
Absolutely. So kegs for wine typically come in 19 to 20 liters. And so actually here next to me is I don't know if y'all can see it, but it's a little heavy too. It's a 15-liter Nebuchadnezzar. And so if you just try to hold that, look at that, that is, and he works out. He's got the muscles.
Come on. Maybe I can just use this as my dumbbell for the next week.
Yeah. So, how heavy that is, I mean, that is a huge carbon footprint if you think about it, as they're transporting it back and forth from glass production to once they fill it to then the warehouse to then the winery or the wine tasting room or the on-premise account. So there's a lot of transport, a lot of carbon emissions throughout that process. So keg, essentially being even larger than this, is lighter than that because it's stainless steel. It's reusable, so it's just better for the environment. So 26 bottles of wine fit in a keg. And we go through a lot of kegs. So we specialize in the stainless steel format within domestic brands because it's just easier logistically. And so we're saving the planet through something that we already love to do. It's drinking alcohol, of course. And what better than wine? And I will defend wine, and I'll get to that later. But this is the best practice that we love. Shout out to Free Flow Wines. We love the stainless steel format. But there's other ways that, we do have plastic kegs. That is a reality. But it still is more sustainable than still using glass bottles and stuff like this, because Australian wine producers or European or anything that's international that's coming to the U.S., like they ship it in a big tote, for example, then they package it here so that your product doesn't get spoiled along the way. Or they just ship it in a keg because it's a one-way thing. And some states more than others will have more recyclable initiatives and programs or campaigns in place that will help do that. So while we vouch for this, the overall goal is to still lower as much as we can the carbon footprint, and kegs right now are the answer to that when it comes to world of wine. So.
And someone needs to invest in this idea. It's incredible. Is there the thing that's like running through my head right now? Is there a reason why that the industry has gone for glass for so long? Is there a reason why?
Tradition.
Tradition?
I mean, tradition is the easiest thing. Also, ease of transport. You know, I think that was done for a while. It looks nice. It feels nice.
Yep.
You have it on the table. This you don't really get it unless you come to Wanderlust Wine Company. You get a little mini keg, a 2-liter mini keg on your table. But yeah, tradition, the romantic noise of when you pop a bottle, it just goes.
Yeah.
Why? That was not a very good noise, but but people enjoy having that romantic experience with wine, and it's a very sensorial experience. So from the touch, feel, look of the bottle to when you actually enjoy the wine in your glass, it's very traditional. And so here we're breaking those norms, those just traditional views of wine.
Yeah.
And it's been a tough journey because you're talking about changing the way people see, perceive, and enjoy wine.
Yeah.
You're talking about self-pour in a keg, and there's not this sense of touch with the bottle of wine. There's more of, you see it on the screen, touch it, you pour it, type of deal. So.
Still going to get that collective. What's nice about this is that it's like a crossroads to bring people together and have an opportunity for the things that we love about wine, about being in a bar. There's like the crossover of those two things while it being safe. So that's really cool. I think the next thing I want to touch on is a little bit about you and share as much as you want to share, but your story is amazing and very inspiring, and can be and will be very inspiring to people out there. Do you mind sharing?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm from McAllen, Texas, down south by the Texas and Mexican border. Parents do not speak English, and as their youngest son, which they call me the gift of God, as I was joking earlier, I came by accident, unexpectedly. There was a little bit of that underlying pressure to be the best out of my brother, not necessarily be better than my brother and sister, but have the best opportunity at life, because everybody had their first try at being in working and living in a new country. And so they said, okay, now that we've perfected the recipe, if you will, it's like the best opportunity at life will come to our youngest son or youngest sibling, if you will. So it was like, learn from our mistakes and live the best life you can. So that underlying pressure, and I was like, woo, that was something that over the years I got to understand. But the story really truly begins when my mother passed away right before I went to college. And so being that I was about to be the first generation, how do you say, like the first in the family to go to a higher education, it was a big point in my life, pivotal point, where it was like, well, what do I do? My mother was, for many people, my mother was the guiding light, the moral compass, kind of the one that was telling you what you should be doing with your life and keeping you on track. And of course, my dad is as well. But my mom was a little bit more on that with that role.
Yep.
And so when she passed, it was like, well, what do I do? I still want to do higher education to, obviously pay tribute, but also to find that success that they so long for and that they fought so hard. I mean, immigrant stories always will say the same thing of how hard they worked for the success and the assurance that their kids will have a better life. And so I didn't want to let her down. I just didn't know what to do. And so, as some students do get the privilege to do, I studied abroad, had great scholarships to do so. I did a semester at sea, and semester at sea is a study abroad program on a ship. And
wow.
I lived the sweet life on deck with Zach and Cody. That was a lifestyle, if you ever saw that Disney show. So it was a really cool program, transformed my life, and went from being a student on there to a staff member. And with my journey with semester at sea, I was exposed to the world of wine. We went to South Africa. I wish I still had a bottle from that winery. We'll grab one soon. But Baxburg down there, they talked to us about the 5 steps of appreciating wine. And, you know, I thought I learned everything. I came back home, told my family, we're going to Olive Garden. I'm going to teach you everything about wine. So did semester at sea, got interested in wine, started working in different tasting rooms and wineries. And so I forgot to mention, my family doesn't drink. So it was the biggest hard thing to tell them I want to pursue a career in alcohol, in wine. And they said, but why? Like, you know, my mom, even though she didn't really drink, she did enjoy a glass of wine here and there. And so she was the only one in my family who I felt would have understood my decision to take part in this journey. And so I did it as kind of like, I want to do it for you. She always wanted to go to Italy. She never really had the chance to. We were just always working, trying to improve our lifestyle. And now it kind of came full circle. We have an Italian food truck here. So it's like honoring her to do her favorite things in life. Wine, which, like I said, was something of interest, but she didn't really know much or consumed it much. Italian cuisine here. So all these little elements kind of are Easter eggs that people don't really realize. And something that's also an Easter egg, we have 56 wines here, and at our second location, 56 because of spacing, but at our east side location, we have 64 wines, because that's how many countries I've been to. And so it's like, everything has a purpose, has a small Easter egg reason of why it's placed. But yeah, I just essentially fell in love with wine, did it mainly because I wanted to pay tribute to my mother, and then wanted to prove to myself that I could actually do it, that I could be a successful part of the family that, you know, they would be proud of. So here we are. We're still fighting, but
thank you for sharing. Like I lost my dad about a year ago, and going through the process of like unveiling a lot of things that happened over that time. As a family, we've got a big family. There's like 5 boys. We've gone through a lot of changes, and so I feel you, 100% feel you.
It's the small things that you can do to honor the people that you love. I think that is, you know, what we do, and it connects you to them in one way or another. And so,
in terms of customers coming here and clients coming here, we were talking about to promote different promotions that you have coming up. Like, I'd love them to be able to experience this. Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely.
Shifting gears a little bit.
So when you walk in, you know, we'll get you started with a tab. Of course, we check that you're 21 years or older. But then you have the option to taste wines at your own pace, and it's by the ounce. So a lot of people consider us the froyo of wine, if people are familiar with that. Or in a very weird way, kind of like the gas station of wine, because it's really what you're pouring into your glass that you're going to be charged for. And you're seeing it visually how much you're spending. So,
and you have like Wine Wednesdays.
Oh man, Wine Wednesdays here are the best day of the week. I mean, you're talking about half off all wines on tap. And then the east side, we just started doing Thirsty Thursdays. And so back-to-back days of the week that are still pretty slow. You know, people are getting out for work. They're so close to the weekend that they just need a little bit of that encouragement to get through it. And so we encourage them to come on in. Wine Wednesday, we have live music. We have our buddy Drake doing a lot of great covers and originals. And then on the east side, we're starting to put a lot more also solo artists, DJs, just to really cultivate this new style of enjoying wine that hasn't really been seen before. Actually, you know, I would pay kudos to y'all in Australia. There has been a lot of, obviously, keg adoption, like keg wine adoption and use, but also placing wine in a very fun and accessible environment. I feel like you don't really see that in a lot of places, especially, you know, very traditional markets. Here in Texas, it's the Wild West. We have a new horizon, if you will, especially with the tech companies coming out here. It just feels like there's so much possibility, and I feel that is why people come to Austin. It's the American dream combined with I can be myself. I can have my own personal identity, and people will support me.
Yeah.
And so this is where we are. We came in, pandemic hit as soon as we tried to open the door. So we started essentially after the pandemic. And what we wanted to do was provide live music, provide DJs, and have a very high energy, eclectic experience and atmosphere as well. Like today it's raining, it will be nice and calm. So we'll touch base into all the genres, but we don't want to be pigeonholed to just one identity. Like
Yeah.
we want to say wine is for the people, which we can't really say that too much because it is its own brand, but essentially the same idea of like wine is for the people, wine is to be enjoyed in any experience, any atmosphere.
Yeah.
And you don't really have to be an expert to enjoy it. And that's what we want to cultivate here. It's like
Yeah.
curious wine drinkers, people that have never tried wine, come on in and enjoy. We don't have anything else. I mean, everything's wine-based, wine-related, but we do have like sake, ciders. Cider's apple wine. Sake is rice wine. We got vermouths. We got wine-based cocktails. So we've got enough diversity in our offerings here to excite people and get them into the world of wine. And they'll soon realize, and this is where I was saying I was going to jump back into it, they'll soon realize that wine, out of anything that you spend money on, is one of the most beautiful beverages that you can consume. It's like liquid art, you know? And so when you're drinking a beer, I mean, everything has an artistic spin to it, but wine is the only beverage that you can truly only make once a year, depending on your hemisphere.
Yeah, yeah.
And so beer you can make throughout the year, liquor, you just gotta distill, you know, it depends if you're making out of wine and stuff, but you know, spirits, beer, other products like don't really have the same story behind it or care. And so it is a little bit higher price, and so that's what we're doing here. We're breaking down the barriers of cost, for example, and so that's a big barrier of entry for a lot of people, and so we price it by the ounce. So you can get a tasting without having to commit to a full glass and be like, whoa. And the alcohol's higher too, so I'm like, I'm having to justify the time, like, we're not expensive. Like, of course, to compare to a beer that's 5%, and you pay $5, like, okay. But for $3 more, for example, you get a 13% alcohol wine that had a lot of thought and effort and skill put into it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So.
It's great. I love it. So one of the questions I like to ask, and especially for you as being the person that did all this, these amazing locations, I want them to get to know, the audience to get to know you a little bit better. What do you do outside of your business, outside of your passion?
Yeah.
That's like a hobby or something like that.
Well, you know, I feel so rude. Would you like a glass of wine, at least for the show, as we cheers and stuff?
We could.
Okay, cool. We'll take a little intermission. We'll be right back.
All right, let's do it. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to you for changing the world through your craft as well. As I was telling you before, you are truly lending an opportunity, a platform, a medium for the Austin community to tell their story. And there's so many great stories, as you've prefaced in a lot of your videos, with the individuals that we have here. And as our city continues to grow, so will the stories. And thank you so much. I think a lot of people don't understand the hard work that goes into producing these things, and the dedication and the love of this project that you have. A lot of passion. So cheers to you, Eli, for changing the world through your craft as well.
Cheers. Thank you. Thank you. It means a lot to me. It means a lot.
And plug in, now we're drinking the Tidal Wine, Wanderlust Wine Co. collaboration wine here. So
Wonderful, wonderful. Did we answer the hobbies question?
Not yet. We just tapped into it a little bit. The hobby. So, yeah, you had asked. So, what happens besides work? I think honestly, for now, it's just work.
Yeah.
This is a good breakaway from
some basketball or something.
Would love to. Basketball is my favorite, and go Spurs, go. But no, right now it's getting this off the ground, and honestly, my hobbies are starting to kind of come together. In the sense of, like, I love live music. We're starting to get a lot of live music here. As more of our budget allows, the more we can bring more local artists in. So we hope 2022 is a great year for that. Art, I love art, and so I don't personally draw myself, but I appreciate it a lot. And so that's what you see here. We're able to connect with the artistic community and create really cool installations and pieces and events. So hobbies are aligning through this, which, you know, I will say a lot of business owners out there that start something out of passion, they immediately get thrown away from their passion to manage every side of the business. You're talking administration, HR, marketing, like there's so many other things that will take you away from what you need to do and what you love to do, but you always got to find a way to circle back. So now if I can only get a way to bring snowboarding into wine, so maybe we'll do like the Food and Wine Festival in Aspen or something. That'll be probably a way to connect and be full circle in terms of all of my hobbies.
I love that. I love that. That's super cool. Well, where can people find you online and in person as well?
We are here in downtown Austin as well as East Austin, and you can find us at wanderlustwine.com or on Instagram at Wanderlust Wine Co. or Wanderlust Wine Collective. Collective is going to be the east side. Some people don't realize, but the pink one is going to be for the main brand, the downtown location, and the green logo will be more for the east side. So Instagram, Facebook, wanderlustwine.com, our website, and then in person, come and visit us. We're open daily from 12 to 10 or 11, depending on the day. We got food trucks as well to have you guys snacking and pairing your wines with something delicious. And come check us out. We rotate wines consistently. We like the idea of continuously traveling the world through wine. And just like traveling, sometimes you like to go to your favorite destinations, but sometimes you want to spice things up. So that's what we have here, a continuous rotation. And come 2022, we'll have a larger portfolio of our personal wines on tap. Wines that we can ourselves create and develop with our personal palate and preferences that we can showcase to the world versus what's available in the world to showcase to the customer.
Yes, so, I love it. I love it. Yeah. Well, honestly, thank you for this opportunity.
Absolutely.
Thank you for letting me come in and tell your story. Yeah, everyone out there, check out this stuff. I'm going to put the links in the description. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week.
That's it.